Heidi, and I own the store TPT, the Lesson Pony. And today I'd like to talk to you about cell phones in the classroom. When cell phones first became popular in the classroom, teachers were very upset, and they still do get upset about cell phones in the classroom. The reason why I think teachers are upset about cell phones in the classroom are the following reasons. The first, they're afraid they're distracting to the students. The second is they're more afraid that something that happens in your classroom will be on TikTok, YouTube, or maybe Facebook. Today I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons of cell phones and how to handle them in the classroom. The first thing I would do is, at the beginning of the year, I would do a student contract, and what I would have in the student contract is it's not allowed for the students to videotape you and place it on the internet unless you first have a chance to see it. Most of us have lessons left over from the epidemic that you can submit to the students if they have trouble and they feel they need to videotape the class. If students learn to use their cell phones correctly, it can be a great help in the classroom. The most important thing I think you need to think about with the use of cell phones, it's not like it's a cell phone. Think of them as bringing miniature laptops or Chromebooks into the classroom. If you think of them as in this manner, I find that you're going to have a much better relationship with the cell phone. I almost encourage students to bring their cell phones to the class, and I'm going to explain to you how I handle student management with it. First off, I'm a science teacher. In the classroom, they are a tremendous benefit to have cell phones to record the steps in the lab, to take pictures if you're doing chemical reactions, to take pictures of the actual color. Their cell phones are also helpful if you go outside on a nature walk. They can actually film what they see in nature and again, put it into the lab reports. So, and you can have them do web quests, or if they have trouble with an answer, tell them to Google it right there. So again, don't think of them as cell phones. Think of them as miniature computers that you don't have to worry about charging. They're there, they're on every student. Pretty much every student has one. Now, one of the problems that I want to address today is what to do with the student that misuses the cell phone, and you will have them. Let's call a spade, you will have them. This is how I would handle it. First, do not get into a power struggle with your students. It's just not worth it. When cell phones first came out, if a student's cell phone went off or a student got a text, everybody would stop. Okay, whose cell phone just went off? And it would take about 5 minutes before I found out whose cell phone went off. Then somebody else's cell phone would go off. Just politely ask the students, please turn your ringer off, your phone's off during class, so we're not using it. Now, what I do with the students is, I will give them 5 points. Or they can do 2 less homework assignments, or give them a sticker or a piece of candy, whatever small reward you want, if they shut their phones off and leave them on your desk for the class period, right in front of them. To tell you the truth, it's a lot easier that way. If students want to use a cell phone to play music while they're doing work towards the end of the class, who cares? Let them play music for a few minutes, as long as they have their headphones on. Why fight it? It's just not worth it. Another thing you can do to manage your cell phones in the classroom is on the back wall, get a clear plastic shoe rack. Have the students bring in their own cell phone chargers. You supply the power strip. Now, if a student decides to charge their phone during class, the rule is they're not allowed to get up and get their phone until the end of class. Otherwise, you got students going back and forth. Is my phone charged? Is my phone charged? If they decide to charge their phone, they've decided to charge their phone. That way they can see their phone. It's in a clear plastic container, and they're bringing in the charger, so this won't cost you a lot of money, but it's well worth it. The student who continues to use a cell phone in their class, the following methods can be used. The first time, politely ask them, please, we're in class, shut your phone off. If the student won't do it, then the next time you take the phone and you put in your desk for 10 minutes. Make sure your desk drawer is locked. You don't want, if you're looking away for a minute, especially if you're a science teacher, you're not at your desk right away, you don't want the cell phone to all of a sudden disappear. So, you put it in your desk for 10 minutes, give it back. The next day, the student has his cell phone on again. Take it from him again, put it into your desk, but this time put on the flashlight. Battery will be down in about 10-15 minutes. Give the phone back. Now the phone is dead. The next day, student comes in. Again, you have the issue with the cell phone. Now, this is when you're going to start getting creative. This is when the fun starts. What I do is, in the summers, I still lifeguard, and during the school year, I work part-time at Home Depot. So I have an endless source of old towels and duct tape. You take the phone. You first wrap it in paper, then wrap it in a towel and tape it with duct tape. Then you wrap it with paper and another layer of a towel. It takes at least 10 minutes for you to do it, but it takes the student 20 minutes. You want to make it as difficult as you can for the student to get back his phone. Now, if they continue to misuse the phone, my room is right across from the custodian's closet. I have been known to go out, again, because I have so much duct tape, I go out and I actually duct tape their phone high up on the wall, or I have been known to duct tape it on the ceiling and they can't get it until the end of class or at the end of school, depending on what you want to do. Now, if the problem still consists, now you're going to have to get the administration involved and some step along the way, and it's up to you, depending on the dynamics of the class, depending on the dynamics of the parent, get the parents involved. But you can show that you have tried everything you can with the cell phone to keep it not to be a nuisance. I feel, in conclusion, the most important thing with the cell phone is, especially the kids today, if you ask them to take away their cell phones and lock them up, they actually become anxious. They get very upset about it if they can't have access to it. It's not worth the fight. Use the cell phone as another piece of technology to teach, and try just to enjoy your students. I want to thank you very much. If you like this video, please hit like. And if you have any thoughts about cell phones, please put it in the resources below. Thank you, and stay safe.